8 comma 8.75 equal backspace. There we go. And get your box in there. Whatever the depth is 7.5. So I can do the same sort of thing. Okay. Here, box 7.75 comma 8.75. Give me the height there. Oh, come on. All right. Nasty. 10.75 comma. There we go. 8.75. All right. So there's the depth. Move it over a little bit. There's move. It happens. All right. Doesn't matter how far. Just move it over straight across. Okay. And then you can do the same sort of thing. And you've already started, right? So we got 8, comma 7.75, enter. Oops, wrong one. Stretched out. There we go. And move that up a little bit as well. Okay? So now you got all three. Because you started, you can actually start paying attention to some of the stuff here. Right off the bat, I would explode them because offset's going to be your friend tremendously, okay? And in fact, you know, you've got this part over here, you know, 1.875, this whole column here, and then you got this little part in the middle, and then this little guy. You can separate those out instantly and get things divided up nicely, okay? Endpoints, tremendous help when you're trying to find lines, all right? Figure out the X and Y for the endpoint, X and Y for the other endpoint, connect the dots with the line, and you got it made, okay? In fact, I did this just before I came here. This one. Let's see how long it take me. Of course, I had some things in. 35 minutes, okay? Get this one done. So, as long as you are offsetting things, moving them around, okay? Going from one location where you know that's the point, offset it a different direction, you're going to be okay. All right? So if we do offset that, getting it going here, this is the 1.875. I would take this across here, and it gets me going, gets me started there. All right? Everything's to the top here. My next one is 5 inches over, so I would come in here to here, and I would offset it again 5 inches and get over to this point. Oops. Helps to keep it there, okay? Now, we got this octagon on the end here, which is flush on the back and flush on this side. How you know? Basically, you look in the back here, and we see that it's one plane. If it was not on the back of the object, basically you'd have an edge there, okay? And then I would have to tell you it is so many inches to the center here and so many, you know, to the back and so many up. Assuming that it was right on the bottom and on the back, you could actually put that in here. Okay? So it is a, going back here, octagon circumscribed around a diameter 4 circle, flush on the bottom and the back of the object. Okay? Don't care. I'm going to come up here somewhere, draw my octagon, 8 sides. Put it there, doesn't really circumscribe about a circle, the diameter 4, so I can get 2, and there it is. Move it so that it is here, and shift right mouse perpendicular. There we go, and then take it one more time. Oh, it snaps on. Try to be nuts. There we go, and my other snap's not on. Midpoint perpendicular. All right, and then move it down so that you end up getting it flush on both ends, okay? It's not uncommon for people to draw these things elsewhere to figure out the size of them, all right? And then move them to the correct location, especially with the square holes that you're going to have, the slots cut through this thing, all right? So there's that part. Well, height of it is taken across here, and really quickly we can trim this out of here and this, and it gives me the front shape at least to the object, okay? That's generally the shape of it all. Once you get here, bit tall. All right. Once we get that, other things that you can focus on. You know, we got a slot up here. This is going to be changed to 2.5. So if you're here today, write down 2.5 and not 2. Okay? Just was not quite, and it looked like this edge here was in line with the back of the slot here. So this equilateral triangle, 2.5. Okay? So write it down, change it. Those who aren't here, don't tell them if you want. It's up to you. Other things that we can figure out here. There's not a whole lot. I could actually get this incline part here. But beyond that, we're sort of limited to what we know in the front view after a certain component. I can get the triangle, we'll get that real quick, and then I get this little guy, and then we're going to move on to other areas and figure those out. All right? So as we do that, again, come up here to the polygon tool, number size 3 here, sure, doesn't matter, and point it straight down if you need to, okay? And there it is. Okay? Once you get that, I tend to scale it. I don't care what the size is right off the bat. It takes an extra step to scale it so that you know it's exactly the size you want. Okay? So you hit scale and then R for reference once I click the base point. Same point to here. And now I can type in the exact distance that I want of 2.5, and it will be what I need it to be. I'm going to change this real quick to here, so that when I move this from the midpoint here to the midpoint there, then I can change this back across here and get it where I need to. And since it's a hole, you're going to cut that out of there. Okay? So very quickly you can get true shapes, all right? As long as you're looking at it in perpendicular fashion, it's going to be the actual triangle, okay? That's 2.5. Now we got that, we can focus on this other guy here, which was 4.375 down, okay? So coming back to this, I can offset 4.375 and get this down to here. There it is. Bring it back to the edge and then take it up to the corner, and there's that incline component. All right? Stretching, pushing, pulling, real quick, very handy when it comes to speed, at least in here. Now that I'm here, other things that you can do, if you really wanted to. I know this is equal, and this is a 2.5 component, and then this is 3.125 here. So I can actually sort of cut that through there. I can actually get the hole through the back, the square, which is 3.75 by 2.5. All of these things you can sort of do real quick. Only thing you really don't know is where this slot is actually cutting through the incline. I can't figure that out from the front view at all. Okay? I can identify locations for it, but I really don't know until I come to the side view where I actually see it going through this incline. Okay? Then I can take it back to the front view for the most part. All right, so let's get the hole on the bottom and we'll do some quick, calculations here and offset a few things if we need to. 2.5 and 3.75. So we got a box. 3.75. 2.5. There it is. All right. So there we go. Draw a real short construction line here because it's going to go in the middle. Move here to this one, and then you can trim stuff out of there because I know it's cut through there. Okay. So there's that slot component. If you really wanted to, you can draw a line here and offset it 1.25 because I know 1.25, there we go. I know these are going to come back this direction somewhere, okay? Don't know where yet, we'll figure it out. But at least that's the component. And then this actually will stop here because of the whole component, all right? So at least we got that part somewhat figured out. Now that I'm done with that, we really can't go much further, okay? At least not here. I mean, there are other things you can do elsewhere. So let's go to the side view real quick. I got this incline, front to back. I got this one going the opposite direction. I scoot it over from front to back, and this one's, you know, or depth-wise, back to front. We call it very back top to front so far up. This one starts in the front, goes all the way to the back. So both of those you can get fairly quickly. All right. Figure this one out. This one's 3.125 at height. So come over here and move this up, and then take this all the way to the back here. Okay? It does go all the way back and at least where it terminates, but there's a flat plateau up here that's 2 inches. So all we really have to do is offset this 2 inches, and that gives me the plateau. The fillet's sort of handy when its radius is 0, because then it'll trim stuff up for you. Okay? Gives you that component. We can go to the front now. We got 2.5 inches back here and 1.25 here. So offset it back 2.5 to this point and 1.25 up from the bottom. And then take this and move it over to here. Now that you got that point, you can delete that, and unfortunately you're gonna have to trim a little bit. Trim this, and I get this out of here because after this point, we can lengthen it back to that point. It becomes a dotted line, a hidden line, because it's going through solid stuff. All right? So working your way through it, you can change this to a hidden line. I didn't have it loaded. I forgot to load it. So we can change this to a dash line or a hidden line, whatever, doesn't matter, they're both the same. Okay? And it gives me the general shape of the side view real quick. All right? For the most part. All right, what else can we do? Well, the nice part is, I can come back in here. This incline slot here, trapezoid shape, comes back 3.25. So as I do that, I can actually figure out where it crosses here. This is going to be also a dash line. And the nice part is, where it crosses the incline plane, that tells me the termination point of these guys over here, where it actually exits that incline, which makes it nice. Okay? We got this edge, now it can come back through here and move it back across here. Again, trimming a little bit, get that out of there because it's a hole. And it gives you that front face. It will drop where it actually intersects the incline here. Okay? After that, what else do we have? Well, I know that this comes down to this point, right? We got this point in side view now. So I can come back in here and I can take this across to here and then up to these guys. Get rid of it. And it gives you that angled part looking straight ahead. All right? So far, so good? Flying by, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, I can't take your exam for you. All right. Although I had one individual offer me some money one time. I politely said no. All right, we got a hole through here, which is a diameter of, find the center of it real quick. I think it's a diameter of 3, maybe? Not liking my circles for some reason. All right, let's see what it is. Octagon, 3.5 diameter. Circle. Here. E. Enter. 3.5. Enter. There we go. Cuts through it. Big old hole through this thing. Okay? Anytime you got a hole, you can't have inclines. You're just cutting through there. All right? Get rid of the stuff that's in the hole. Okay? Biggest mistake I see. A hole, people put stuff through it. Okay? Make sure you know what the stuff is you're cutting through. All right. You have this point, which is nice and handy. End point here. We can take here, that goes up to this point. From here to that point, and then down. Okay, we got this 1x2 slot here that's centered. So we can figure that out real quick over here. Head back to our box. There it is. Okay, 1, 2. There it is. Move it from midpoint to midpoint, and then get rid of the stuff. Hold. All right. There you go. So there's your slot cut through there as you're looking straight at it. All right. I've done a lot in the side view and the front view. Okay. We got this guy coming through here at some point. All right. Well, I'm going to change him to a different color real quick, magenta, because he's sort of unique, and he starts in a very specific location. It starts right here. Even though you've got a bigger hole that goes to the very front, this one actually doesn't start here. And I can't figure out where this one is until I put it in the top view. All right. So once I figure that out, then I can transfer it into the side view. Strong suggestion. Do a line, connect the dots, project these things, okay? Line here, that's at a 45-degree angle, so that you can project some of this stuff, right? Get here, ooh, I was way off on the top one. There we go, okay? So when that happens, then everything is, you know it's in the right location, okay? So I can start here by projecting this straight up. Take this, it goes front to back, basically. I have this point, which is here, where that component ends. So you bring this across. You have a slot up here that goes from here to here, that incline component, right? That little guy there. After that, it just goes down to the very back. So that's what it's going to look like. Okay? Let's get rid of these guys real quick. The back of this hole that we have there comes up, comes across, and comes up. And that was a mistake there. Once you get to this point, this is the total width of that portion, which is going to get cut off in the front here. Okay? These guys actually angle forward until they go to the points here. All right? So there's that aspect of it. And this guy comes across here. All right? So we're getting the things that we like and actually know. This goes up. This is 2-inch block here. That starts there and ends there. Okay? You got the triangle cut through this. So I know it's going to cut through there. The peak is here. Lots of things happening with this one, which we'll talk about in a second. I want to get rid of all of these guys. Okay? And I want to bring this across here. Because this is the bottom of that triangle slot. Alright? It will be a hidden line, dash line, whatever you want to call it. Okay? And it terminates at that point through the incline. So that's where at least you're going to have to take it to. Now, once you get it to that point, it does some interesting stuff because it starts to angle up till it hits this point. In the front view, we can figure that out and take it straight up, right? So it's a little bit of a unique component here because this taken straight up is where it starts and then it comes down to there, okay? So trimming this out of here, get that, and then you can mirror this real quick to get the other side. There we go. So that's what that triangle cut through there. Okay? Endpoints. That's all I'm really doing. Right? Lots of endpoints. Very quickly. Okay? Don't rush through this stuff. You can take your time. You'll have plenty of time. All right? Octagon. Taken up and across. It's just going to be this little bitty thing here. And then once I get that done, we'll head over to the other one. Because I really want to focus on the layout stuff. All right? The one thing that you should do and really focus on, probably the easiest 45 points you're going to make. Okay? So there's the octagon component on the end there. All right? And the same with the front. Basically, you're going to end up with this. Okay? In a nutshell. Because there's some hidden lines in there. All right? Please pay attention, especially where it comes to this thing cutting through this circle back here. Especially in the top view. You're going to see edges there. All right? Make sure that you actually get those edges in there. Okay? Now they're only 1 point. And as you get it in there, it's going to look something like this. And then there's going to be some crazy thing happening here that this comes on across because that's the limit of the circle. All right? You've got to show the limit of the circle, the edge of it. Okay? So focus on that sort of thing. And how do we get this guy, the back of this one? Well, it's 2.5 inches back. Okay? We get it there and came over here and did a lot of twisting and turning, right? So you get that, okay? Where this square hole cuts through here, which I don't have yet. Line here, up, here, across, and here and down. Just a big pattern here, okay? Of projecting. That's where that square box terminates in the side view. I didn't do anything special. I just figured out where it was up here. Once I get a hidden line through here, okay? And where it crosses that incline plane, you just take it across and down, and that's where it exits in the side view. All right? Last thing you're going to do, once you get it all nice and pretty, okay? A, make sure it's lined up. B, okay, make sure you have hidden lines in there. Don't do colored lines. You can do colored lines to help you with, you know, identifying that it's hidden, but don't just change the colors because your TA is going to expect hidden lines. So load a hidden line, dashed line, don't care which one, load one of them instantly so that you can use it and change the line to it. It is a simple process of clicking on the object, whatever it is, coming up here and changing it to the line you want or changing it to the color that you want, okay? That's all you're doing. Escape a couple times and it's changed. I don't even care about layers here. You don't have time for layers. We're concerned with layouts. Because as a professional, you will encounter layouts. Believe it or not, they still print paper. Okay? I've had, I don't know, 2-3 dozen students come to me over the years and say, guess what I did this summer, Clark? I printed everything. That's all they did for an internship. Print it. Print this on C-size paper. Print this on D-size paper. Print this on A. Whatever. Okay? This is how you get stuff accurately to scale, and they want you to scale it. Okay? The white space is the layout. Plain and simple. It represents the sheet of paper. The default, unfortunately, for me, this was created for manufacturing. They use 8.5 by 11 all the time, so that's the default paper size. You change it by right mouse clicking on layout and going to page setup manager. It brings up a printer driver, which you all should be familiar with, right? Allow you the computer to talk to your printer. Say, I'm going to print it on this piece of paper size. We're going to hit modify. Whatever comes up in your lab, change it to none. You're not printing anything, you're just setting it up so that it can be printed. Change it to none, because if you leave it on the printer in Physics 14, it only identifies the paper sizes that that printer can handle, which does not give you any of the architectural or engineering paper. All right? Plain and simple. Leave this at none, or change it to. If I tell you engineering's D, all right, we're going to open this up. ANSI is the engineering standard, okay? ANSI is the standard everything, paper sizes and layouts and layers and all that junk that they have adopted. So ANSI D, we're just going to click on it. We're going to hit OK. You will notice instantly the paper gets substantially bigger because it represents 24 by 36. Okay? This, however, is the viewport. All right? And the viewport is just a window into model space. I tend to get it past the actual paper because that's an actual box it will print. It's inside the white space. Okay? Double click. You'll notice that now the highlighted box has darkened considerably, and I'm able to move around whatever I want. I can focus on this thing. Okay? Get your drawing centered on this sheet of paper. Double click outside of it. Now when I zoom and pan, I'm getting the whole thing. So you can temporarily get into model space, center it up, double click outside it, and you're back into the layout space. To get it to a specific scale, you have to single click on this viewport, and it opens up a scale down here. Once you do that, if I ask for 1 to 2, there's 1 to 2. All you have to do is come down here when it's highlighted, pick on 1 to 2. If I ask you for 1 to 3, it's not listed. You're going to scroll down to the bottom. You're going to hit custom real quick. You're going to add 1. Doesn't take long. It's not rocket science. And 1 to 3, and hit 3. Okay? Did that sort of quick. Edit real quick. 1 unit in the drawing is 1 unit, or 1 unit paper is 3 units in the drawing. That's all you got to do. Hit OK, OK, so that now when you hit this, you got 1 to 3 identified. It'll be at a 1 to 3 scale for the engineers. Okay? The engineering scale you can measure. 1 to 30, right? The 30 scale. Questions? Not anything. A little longer than 35, yeah.
Will we need to insert a scale bar?
Pardon?
Will we need to insert a scale bar?
No. The only thing left you have to do is insert text. Okay? All you got to do is come up here to the big A, single line text, pop it here. Scale. As long as you don't put anything in model space, this scale will be okay. I got to just hit enter. Okay? Text angle, 0. Good deal. Top view. Enter, enter. There it is. Okay? Pop it up to where the top view is. All right? Copy it. Probably the quickest way to get text done. Once, twice, and 3 times. Okay? Change this to front. I'll just hit F view and side and Corey, your name, and you are done. 45 easy points. Okay? The thing that people hit most often that screws them up is they take this when they're in this page layout, and you can do it one of 2 ways, folks. I try not to do it this way because you can actually have multiple viewports on one sheet of paper at different scales. Problem is, people try to modify here, and then they go ahead and hit 1 to 3 here, which would be okay if you had a single viewport right off the bat. Okay? You hit OK, and you get close. You'll notice this thing got substantially smaller because it now multiplies the other one times the viewport. So 1 to 3 and 1 to 3. You got a 1 to 9 scale there now, which is nothing. All right? So Either way, if you're in a hurry, probably the easiest way is to set it up here in the modify. If not, go ahead and do it elsewhere, all right? Because technically, I could come in here and I can move this over at 1 to 3, and I can copy this from here to here, double click inside it, get my other started one, and I could change this to, I don't know, 1 to 2 possibly, okay? So you can actually work with 2 different scales. And on your detail pages, which you will encounter eventually, all of those are going to have their own unique scales. All right? I'm done.